Welcome to Explain the Charts, everyone. Today, August 4th, 2025, we're zeroing in on Google, Alphabet's Class A shares, and there's been a whirlwind of news that's directly impacting its price action. First, let's look at the broader market context. Recent reports from Investors Business Daily highlighted Google and other stocks near by points after a general market sell-off, suggesting a potential rebound opportunity. A major catalyst emerged just an hour ago, with Yahoo Finance quoting CEO Sundar Pichai stating nearly all Gen AI unicorns use Google Cloud, signaling strong adoption and a potentially screaming buy signal for Alphabet. This reinforces Google's competitive edge in AI, especially considering recent discussions about Amazon losing ground to Microsoft and Google in the AI race. However, it's not all smooth sailing. Reuters reported Google's agreement to curb power usage for AI data centers to ease grid strain, a necessary step, but one that might hint at infrastructure constraints for rapid expansion. On the legal front, Robinhood noted Google's loss in an Epic Games appeal, a development that could weigh on sentiment, although its long-term financial impact remains to be seen. Despite some mixed signals, the latest Nasdaq data shows Google trading around $194.87, up a significant 2.59% today, indicating that the market is currently reacting very positively to the recent news, particularly around AI, even after our provided Candlestick data cut off. Let's now turn our attention to the charts to see how these events have been playing out historically and what they imply for future movements. Looking at the daily chart for Google, we can see a clear overall uptrend since March 2024, despite several significant pullbacks along the way. The price rallied from the 150 range in March 2024, pushing towards a 52-week high around $207 in early February 2025. This long-term bullish momentum is driven by fundamental growth, particularly in Google's cloud and AI segments. However, this upward journey has been punctuated by sharp corrections, demonstrating periods of significant selling pressure, such as the drop from $207 to the mid-$180s in February 2025, or the dip to the low $140s in April 2025. Let's narrow our focus to the more recent price action, specifically from late July through the close of August 1st, 2025, as shown on the daily chart. We observe a notable decline from highs around $197 on July 24th, dropping sharply to $192.17, then further to $167.28 by July 25th, indicating a significant market sell-off consistent with the news we just discussed. This was followed by a rebound attempt to $169.53 on July 29th, then a further dip on July 31st to $191.90, before closing at $189.13 on August 1st. The high transaction volumes on these large down days, such as July 24th and 25th, confirm strong selling interest during the market sell-off period. This recent price action shows that Google found a temporary support around the $188 to $189 level on August 1st, where it attempted to stabilize after the significant drop from its recent peak. Now, let's examine the 1-hour chart to get a clearer picture of the intraday movements leading up to August 1st. From July 22nd, we saw Google consolidating around the $190 to $191 mark, but this stability was short-lived. A sharp bearish hourly candle on July 22nd at 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated, dropping from $191.72 to $188.779, confirms the initial strong selling pressure. The period from July 22nd, 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated through July 23rd, 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated shows a continued struggle, with the price attempting to hold above the $188 level. The close of the last available 1-hour candle at $189.8736 on July 23rd, 1300 hours Universal Time Coordinated suggests some recovery, But the overall hourly trend here is still bearish, showing the immediate aftermath of the previous day's significant drop. Transitioning to the 15-minute chart, we can pinpoint the granular movements from late July into August 1st. Notice the sharp drop on July 31st around 13:16 Universal Time Coordinated, where the price plummeted from $196.13 to $194.12, followed by a further decline to $191.37 by 15:01 Universal Time Coordinated. This short-term reversal confirms the intensity of the selling that pushed the daily chart lower. However, as we move into the August 1st data, the 15-minute chart shows the price consolidating primarily within the $188 to $189.50 range after a slight dip at the open. This consolidation, marked by smaller candle bodies and fluctuating volume, suggests indecision and a potential attempt by buyers to establish a footing after the previous declines. The recent news about Google's AI success and the Nasdaq price of $194.87 today, August 4th, suggests a strong reversal has already taken hold since the data we have, likely driven by renewed bullish sentiment around AI. This means the 188 to 189 area that acted as recent support in our data has likely held and propelled the stock higher. So, what are the key levels to watch for Google? Immediate support for Google on the daily chart appears to be in the $188 to $189 range, a level where buying interest emerged at the end of our provided data. Below that, significant support zones are around $170 to $175 from its June-July consolidation, and then the critical $160 to $162 region, which has consistently held strong in multiple instances throughout 2024 and 2025. On the upside, immediate resistance will be around the $192 to $193 mark, where prior rallies stalled. Breaking above that, the $195 to $197 range represents a major resistance level from late July's peak, and today's Nasdaq live price suggests it is currently testing or has already broken past this. Beyond these, the all-time high and 52-week high around $207 will serve as strong psychological and technical resistance. For short-term trades, look for sustained breaks above or below these immediate resistance and support levels, ideally confirmed by higher volume. The strong volume seen on big moves, both up and down, highlights significant institutional participation, indicating that large players are active around these levels. For swing traders, observing price action around the $195 to $197 resistance will be crucial. A clear break and retest of this level as support could signal further upside towards the 200s. In terms of market sentiment, there are strong reasons to be bullish on Google in the short and long term. The strong AI narrative, reinforced by Sundar Pichai's comments about Google Cloud's widespread adoption among AI unicorns, provides a compelling growth story. Institutional investors like Crider Capital boosting their stake further validates this bullish outlook. The current price action on August 4th, as indicated by Nasdaq data, shows a significant recovery, suggesting the market is quickly pricing in these positive AI developments. However, investors should be mindful of potential headwinds. The Epic Games legal setback, while possibly priced in, represents ongoing regulatory scrutiny that could introduce volatility. Also, the earlier market sell-off, which impacted Google, highlights broader economic sensitivity. Long-term, Google's diversified business model, ranging from search and advertising to cloud computing and cutting-edge AI, provides a solid foundation for continued growth and resilience against market fluctuations. To recap our analysis, the important price levels to watch are the immediate support at $188 to $189 and the resistance zone of $195 to $197. Given today's reported price action and strong AI news, a short-term bullish continuation is highly likely. with a 70 to 80% probability of retesting or breaking above $195 to $197 in the coming days. This likelihood is reinforced if Google can hold above the $190 mark with sustained buying volume. A breakout above $197 could open the path towards the $200 psychological level and potentially the 52-week high of $207, with a moderate 50 to 60% chance in the short to medium term. Conversely, if Google fails to hold $188, we could see a retest of the $170 to $175 support with a 30 to 40% probability, especially if broader market weakness or new negative news emerges. In the long term, the outlook remains strongly bullish for Google, with a 75 to 85% probability of achieving new all-time highs above $207 within the next 6 to 12 months, contingent on continued innovation in AI and robust cloud growth. Key things to look for in the near future include any further announcements regarding Google's AI initiatives, upcoming quarterly earnings reports, if any are expected soon, and the general sentiment in the tech sector. Always remember to manage your risk and consider your investment goals.